Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
This is a super impromptu live. We're going to wait for a minute or two for people to come in. It's also a very important live. If I had to be very honest, I think this is the most important video we've ever made in our life. We've been making videos for 6 years now. We've been on the path for 6 years now. Let us know if the volume is okay, by the way. And this is, I think, the most important video we have ever made. And it's a
Our
direct...
last most important video of this caliber was when God came into our life for the first time, and we shared that raw with you guys just the next day. And this has been an equally eye-opening experience.
Is the volume okay, you guys?
Just comment and let us know. We haven't seen any comments yet. Just let us know volume's okay on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok.
Hey, you guys. Beautiful. We'll just give it another minute. How have you all been? So we are actually still in ceremony, Siman and I. We did a ceremony last night. We got a very, very, very eye-opening message from God, and even Siman and I are a bit phased. We literally thought this morning that we would just take the day off because we had our Metatronic Healers training on Saturday, and yesterday was our ceremony. We've been doing a 3-day juice fast. Today's our 3rd day. So we were just like, let's go out. But the angels were like, no, you have to make this video now. When the energy is still raw, make the video. So before I just start, I want to say to all of you that because it's so important to know the context or the pretext that we're all going around our world and we're flicking around our phones, and there's like a lot of AI, there's a lot of garbage out there.
Distractions.
There's distractions, displaced distractions. And so I want to just say to you from the depths of my heart, please do not dismiss this video because this video is important for your soul.
And the reason we're saying that is because what we learned last night in our ceremony with God changed the direction of our ascension, changed the direction of our life's path. And it's that big. So the download we want to share with you is very multidimensional. But if you understand this, it may mean the difference between getting back to God and not getting back to God. That's how big the download is.
We'll keep it light. We'll keep it fun. That's the whole point. I feel like we need to keep these conversations real, which is why today the message was just go live. Let it be raw, let it be crude, let it be spontaneous, let it be imperfect, let it be whatever it is. So basically, God asked us a bunch of very real questions last night. And I just want to say to those of you who may feel a bit of fear come up in this video, I want you to know that fear may come up in this video. But this is the good kind of fear. It's not the kind of fear where media is programming you and pumping you to feel fear. But if this video, the conversations, the topics we're going to bring up, the real deep conversations that your souls are craving for, this is it. If this brings up fear in you, or this brings up any kind of negative frequency in you, perhaps just allow your nervous system to hold it. Just allow your nervous system to hold what you label as fear, because maybe that is the biggest entity or ego or your mind trying to take you off this video so that you don't feel fear. In this video, I'm telling you, I'm requesting you, if it aligns with you, allow yourself to hold the frequency of fear, because some of the things we talk about are very real. They are directly talking about your soul. They're talking about your journey back to God.
And fear is a very useful tool when you know how to use it in a positive way and make a positive change. Fear is paralyzing when you don't know what to do with that information. So when fear comes out of love, like sometimes a parent would put fear of fire in a child, then that's love. But if someone who's brainwashing you puts fear in you, that's paralyzing. So fear can be used for positive and negative.
And as always, before we get started, please do the usual housekeeping. It would really mean a lot to us if you hit the like button. And I don't say it from a marketing point of view. I truly say it because these damn algorithms work this way. And the more of you add energy to such videos, especially if you're resonating from your heart, the more Lightworkers can see these videos. And that's the whole freaking point of this video, you guys. God had the most fucking real conversation with us last night. God had the most crude, most honest, most real conversation. And yes, we were triggered. And yes, you may be triggered. And God literally, like, we're just going to talk about a whole bunch of things. We haven't prepared it, but God literally said, have you guys ever thought about why I have sent 140 million of you to Earth right now? Have you guys even forgotten the fact that you are part of the 140 million people? And he was like almost like saying it over and over again. So I'm going to speak kind of like the way it was coming out. He's like, have you ever thought about why I would actually send the 140 million people to Earth at the same time? So fine, now you know the grandeur. You all know that there's a lot of people here.
You have to explain that properly for some people who may not understand the full picture. So currently, like we've been narrating in our recent videos since the beginning of our YouTube channel, is that the premise of EldoRa and I being here on Earth, we are mainly focused on finding out our soul's mission and why we came. And in uncovering that soul's mission, we are realizing that we're not the only ones who came from outside of this planet. We're here with 144 million other light workers who came from outside of the system, from higher dimensions, from ascended planets. And this is all part of a collective effort to rescue humanity from a mind-controlled frequency fence prison. And the biggest thing we realized is that...
No, so ask the questions that God asked.
You proceed.
Right, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to proceed.
I am.
Yeah, I think you have more clarity today, so you guide it.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because that's how I got the breakthrough. The only way you can get the breakthrough is if we go very slow with this.
Yeah.
Very, very slow. God was going very slow with me. God was posing me the questions. Ooh, I'm already getting emotional. God asked me a very simple question in the beginning of the ceremony that I'm asking you right now. He said, you're a light worker, right? Great. You're on the ascension path, right? Amazing. He was saying to me, you're an ascension master teacher, right? I said, yeah. You're doing great work, right? I said, yes, I'm a quantum healer. I'm doing all of this. And he said, so I'm going to ask you a very simple question. He said, if I asked you that if you had to find your way back to me, what would your answer be? Are you 100% sure that you can find your way back to me? No, like, however you have to do it. Do you know how you can find your way back to me? And I'm like, what kind of a question is even that? So I started thinking. I'm like, okay, all of this shit came up. Like, wow, we're stuck in a 3D planet. He's like, exactly. He's like, so tell me what comes to mind. So what came to you? If you had to go back to God, are you 100% sure if everybody is out? Like, are you sure that you know how to get back to God? And so a lot of like internal feelings came up for me. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. What does going back to God even mean? We've been so numb. We've not even had this question of what does going back to God even mean? Okay. In all this drama going on Earth, what does that mean? Like, does it mean that we're here for 3,000 years? We're all having longevity, all these long lives. Are we just supposed to stay here? At the end of those 3,000 years, do we then ascend and go back to meet God? Or
is there going to be a solar flash and we're going to be on a different reality? Or we're going to be in the same planet? Where is New Earth exactly? These are all the real questions we were asking.
And where is God? Like, how do we... So he says... So I said to him, I said, okay, let me keep it very simple. If I die right now, I said to him, I said, all this came up when he asked me this deep question. I said, if I die right now, how confident am I that instantly I will be in your arms? Instantly I will be in your heart.
In God's presence.
In God's heart. In God's love. And I said, I don't have that confidence. And he said, why don't you have that confidence? Because I said, no one's ever taught me what happens. And there's all these myths about ascension and there's all these things. We are ascension master teachers. We are living the life of ascension. We are here to be wayshowers of the ascension. And this has just gotten very real since last night, our real mission on this planet. So when God started asking us all these questions, it was more like, are you confident? And then I said, if I die, will I be right back with you? Because there's so much fear and doubt. What happens when we die? Like, do we still have to come back to the planet, or immediately can we meet God? Like, there's a lot of confusion. So I'll leave it at that and let Siman go, but we have to then
Yeah.
go slow.
Right. So when we were asked this question, that do you know how to make it all the way back to God, the first question that arose is, nobody even has discussed the idea of what it means to get back to God, right? Like, we're all thinking of a theory. Like, not one of us has ascended yet. We all know in our hearts that we're moving towards new earth. Like, I'm talking to the star seeds right now. I'm talking to the light workers who know they're here. They're not originally from here. They know that they came here. They know that they were sent here by God. And they know that they have a special purpose and a mission. And all of these people, I think there's a couple 100 million of us. We like to say 144 million just for humor. But all of us carry a common vision. And that vision is that we all know that we are working towards a new earth, a new reality, but we all don't know how to get there. That's the main point we got to.
So then we got to the next part of the conversation, which was the real part of the conversation, which is, have you 140 million forgotten, including you ascension teachers, master teachers like you call yourselves, EldoRa and Siman? And God was talking to us with a lot of respect. We are his ambassadors, we are his prophets, we are his messengers. But God also was getting through to our soul. He's like, including all of you, have you forgotten that you're in a prison planet? Wait a second, what? We're in a prison planet. Have you forgotten that you're amidst a warring planet? And have you forgotten that heaven lies at the end of that suffering?
On the other side.
Heaven is on the other side. Like, have you forgotten that you're actually in a prison planet? Because he says, I actually see you guys setting up shop on planet Earth. All of you are setting up shop on planet Earth. You want to manifest the nice house, because we don't know if new Earth is here. So we're all, like, even me, I'm thinking I'm going to manifest my dream home in nature where I'm just left alone. He's like, why do you want to be left alone? Why do you want to be left alone in a prison planet? And I'm like, what? Literally these days, all I can think of is I just want to be left alone. I'm happy finally in my life. I just want to be left alone. I'm happy finally in my life. I just want to be left alone. And God's like, wait a second. Don't you guys remember? Do you guys know that you are in a prison planet? So it's like, I'm asking you this question. God asked me, he said, let's say you're in jail. Somebody's thrown you in jail. You're in jail, correct? You know you're in jail. And let's say they're giving you food in the jail. You're eating the food knowing that that's jail food. He's saying in life, it's unfortunately not that clear. It's not saying, oh, this is a jail. They've made the jail look like heaven.
They made the jail look like a place you actually want to stay. So we're coming to the realization that many of us, first of all, when I was asked this question, do you know how to get back to God? Part of us had made peace with the fact that we're never getting out of this prison.
And this was at a subconscious level.
At a very subconscious level, and we're reading the collective consciousness of humanity, which we're experiencing ourselves. So this happened to us, but we also know it's happening to many light workers subconsciously, is that we have made peace with the fact, or we have allowed this virus belief to enter our brain, which needs to be exterminated. The virus belief is that you are not going anywhere. You are staying here forever. And this is a very real subconscious thought. Even though you may not consciously be thinking, you may be thinking, I'm focused on the ascension and I'm getting out, but you don't know how to get out. So most of us actually don't know what we're talking about. We just hold this vision in our heart, but we don't know how to get there. And we subconsciously are beginning to feel that there may not be a way out. We're subconsciously beginning to behave in a way that now we have to behave in a way that we're going to be here for a very long time, and hopefully this prison will turn into new earth. The biggest realization God gave us yesterday is that this prison is not new earth. You have to actually, the reason we were all sent here, it was to get out of the prison by ascending. But we're not doing that. We're creating our vision boards in the matrix, in the prison, and saying our vision board is inside this reality. We're saying, oh, where's my mansion? Is it in Houston? Is it in Tulum? Is it in Toronto? Is it in Montreal? What if it's in none of those geographical locations? What if New Earth is a completely new location that's not even part of our vision board? The matrix is very clever. The matrix is a frequency controlled prison. The matrix is designed to make everyone inside it believe that you're okay, you're good, you've made it. You can stay here. They serve you food here. They give you entertainment. There's Netflix shows. So we're all buying the matrix, and we're all not ascending, and we don't know what is the way out. We're waiting for a solar flash, or we all think that someone from outside is going to come and help us.
That was the biggest
we all
thing.
think that we have to wait till 2032 and then there'll be a solar flash, and until then we can just eat whatever what the fuck we want and watch shows, and we have nothing to do right now.
And that's literally how Siman and I have been feeling. We feel like, honestly, we're getting a bit cocky. If I had to be very honest with you guys, we're both are getting a bit cocky that, oh, we're ahead of the consciousness. We're like by octaves higher than everybody else. This is all bullshit. We're not. We're kidding ourselves. We've not even ascended. So why? God asked me why. I said, oh, I literally thought that I've done everything I can. I've harmonized my ego, I've harmonized my food, I've harmonized everything to the level that it needs to be harmonized, where I can call myself a master. I've managed my 4-body system. I've done the curriculum. I've done all the initiations. I've done the curriculum. And I'm ready to ascend when the solar flash happens. I'm ready to ascend when it's time to ascend. And I was thinking something's going to happen where we ascend. The solar flash will happen and suddenly we'll ascend, because now we've done the work. So Siman and I, like many of you, have been in like a waiting game.
We're all waiting.
We're all
That's
waiting.
That's the common theme in Lightworkers. We're all waiting for the ascension to happen.
And while we're
That's
waiting,
the problem.
While we're waiting, what God is saying to us is, you're waiting. You've forgotten that just on the, God asked me, he says, EldoRa, you said, when I die, will I instantly be united with you, with God? I said, I need that assurance. And he says, the answer to that is, when you ascend, like let's say you and Siman are so close to the ascension, all you have to do is do a few things. We know our curriculum. Our curriculum is very simple. We need to eat less food. We're only eating 1 meal a day, but sometimes we do a little bit of ego eating. So God's saying, very rare, but even that, God is saying ego eating is not the issue. The issue is you've forgotten the why. You feel bad having a coffee. So what is the point? There's nothing wrong with having a coffee. It's very deep, guys, what I'm trying to say. God is saying the issue is not the coffee. The issue is not what you're doing. The main issue is that all of you don't know why the fuck you're doing any of this anymore. It's all a fucking charade.
We've all forgotten.
Everybody is just in a charade.
We've all forgotten why we're here. And all the 144 million Lightworkers have forgotten why we're here. And we're all in a waiting game. We're thinking the galactics will show. We're thinking, okay, yeah, by 2027, it'll be first contact. Or we're thinking there'll be a solar flash in God knows when. It's always been predicted in the future. We're all waiting for something outside of us to happen. But God is showing us that the only way to get out is by ascending. And in the past, we were having this vision that we described to you people, that we're going to reverse age, we're going to eventually get immortality, we're going to live here for 3,000 years. All of that is true, but not in this location, not in this prison.
Not in
That's
this
the biggest
earth.
change. That's the biggest shift. We have to get out of the prison to a new location, to a new frequency. I don't know. I can't even call it a location. I don't know what it is. New Earth is just a frequency. It may be a different version of this planet, but it's not this version of the planet. And we cannot access that frequency unless we are single-mindedly focused on our ascension.
To get
and
out of here.
We are constantly having measurable success in raising our frequency. Like this week, your frequency is a little bit higher than last week. You don't have to kill yourself with discipline, but you just have to make incremental changes moving up. What we're realizing in ourselves and in many light workers is that we're making incremental changes and then we're dipping again. The matrix is designed to make you do that. The matrix is designed to make you feel that as soon as you ascend, as soon as you invest in yourself and you learn new skills and you feel like, oh my God, I'm in such a high vibration. As soon as you come to House of Ra, everybody's flying. And then you go back to the matrix, what happens? Everybody crashes. Everybody dips again. Because the curriculum, the why, the focus, the direction is not solid yet. Now it's becoming very solid in our consciousness that the direction of our life, the only reason we were sent here is to follow our way back to God. And there's a list of curriculum that we need to follow. It just doesn't happen in a waiting game. We have to take certain steps, and there is a science, there's a methodology, there's a discipline, and there's a willpower. Right now, light workers we see are in a washing machine. We ascend, we go back down. We ascend, we go back down. You know what? That's called a prison. You're always going to be ascending and descending. You're not getting out. The matrix is designed to make you feel that as soon as you're raising your frequency a little bit, oh, you've made it. Now you can teach the world. Now you can set up shop here. Oh, you're such a high frequency. But even the most high frequency people that we see are aimless. They don't know how to get out. All of their vision boards can only materialize inside the prison. Their vision boards don't have a plan to get out.
And none of our vision boards have a plan to get out. And that's what God said. He said it's not about, you guys don't want to get on the ascension because you don't know your why.
We've even been made to forget that we're supposed to get out. That's how this prison works. We're made to believe that we're supposed to stay here.
And what God's saying
and
is,
get comfortable.
You guys are, so God said to me in the beginning, He said, what is between you and me? Like EldoRa, I'm asking you this as well. What is between you and me? What is it? What is that thing that has you? What is that thing that has you? What is your Achilles heel? What is your Achilles heel right now in your day-to-day life? What is your Achilles heel that is preventing you from showing up? So in my case, I just used my head. I was like, when God asked me, I said, I think it's my need for comfort. So we all have like a need for comfort, a need for just being held in comfort, or a need for food, because these things make us feel safe, and that's okay to a certain extent in this matrix. So when I said to God that it's my need for comfort, He said, so what would you do if your food is if you feel like shit, because I have the strong need for comfort, because I have such a strong addiction to food, I know that if, let's say, I can be bribed, and I'll give you an example. God gave us an example. He said when Yeshua was hung on the cross for all of earth to see, like, look at what has happened to the prophet of God. We all have that in our consciousness. And I said to God that I kind of have this subconscious blame towards you, God, that even in Egypt, we both, we'll tell you the story another day, we were Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and Akhenaten was mutilated, just like Jesus.
I was captured by my enemies and tortured to death. And our children were also tortured.
And I was Nefertiti. I went into hiding. So all this trauma is in us. So I said to God, honestly, God, now that you're talking to me, I'll be very honest with you. I kind of have lost faith in you, because why would you send us to crucify ourselves? Why would you send us to Egypt 3,000 years ago? And He said to me, He said, close your eyes, EldoRa. And he said, just remember that day. He said, just remember that day that all of you, 140 million of you, came to me, came to God, and said, Earth is in danger. Earth is in danger. Humanity is in danger. We want to go. We want to save Earth. We want to help humans. And I said to you, if you go, you may get stuck there forever. If you go, you may be mutilated, you may be hung on the cross, you may be sacrificed, you may be raped, you may be tortured. And EldoRa, how did you not only said you want to go, you said, I'm going to go as a way shower, I'm going to show people how it's done, I'm going to be the first one who ascends.
We knew what we were getting into before we made a decision to incarnate. All of us, you guys. And the biggest realization we're having is that, so, okay, let me go back to Yeshua being hung on the cross. That was a download in itself. Why is the symbol of Christianity, why is the symbol of Christianity a beautiful man being hung on a cross and tortured? A symbol of a religion is a man being tortured. Why is that? Can anybody in the comments, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
And why do people wear it
Why
on their
is the
neck?
symbol of Christianity a man being tortured? What are your thoughts on that?
And why do people wear that on their neck proudly, the cross?
Yeah, we've been brainwashed that this is ascension. Being hung on the cross is ascension. So, you know why? Because this is the biggest, this is the way the frequency of this prison works. When Yeshua came, it was an incarnation of God. Yeshua came to earth as an incarnation of God. And Yeshua's incarnation on earth was living proof. This is, Yeshua's incarnation is really God making a statement that if 144 million of my starseed children from all these ascended planets, they're leaving heaven and they're going to earth to save this planet that all of our old soul family's been trapped in for millions of years, and they don't know how to get out. So we need to send 144 million more of us into this trap to get out, get everyone out, or as many people as we can out. That's the mission, right? That's the Emerald Covenant. But God is saying, before I can send my children, I went myself. How can I send my children and say, go slaughter yourself, if I'm the one not putting my money where my mouth is? So Yeshua's incarnation was God putting his money where his mouth is and saying, knowing that I'm going to be slaughtered on a cross, as a soul, you know before you're going in, you see the whole plan. There's nothing hidden. Knowing that God saw the plan, he knew that he has to go as Yeshua. He knew that he has to infuse his soul and perform miracles. He knew that he has to become one in the flesh with third dimension. And he knew that he had to be hung on the cross and made an example of. But he went anyway. Why did he do that? Because he's saying the same reason 144 million starseeds did it, out of unconditional love for humanity. And that's something we forget, but it's actually very real. When we're in, we want to get out. When we're out, we are aching to help. We're aching to get back, and we're aching to jump on the cross again, just if it saves a few people.
And you know what? This was the example that God was giving us earlier about this whole thing that will really cement it in. He said when Yeshua was hung on the cross, there was a crazy uproar. Like the Romans had to contain it. People were really upset. People were starting to look up to him. And of course, when you remember that this is a prison, he said, what does this prison do? This fancy prison that you call Earth, where it has all the luxuries, all the, like, you know, you have so much to do, so much to eat, so much to watch on Netflix. You have so many things. He said people were really upset. And you know what the Romans did? I think it was Julius Caesar at that time. And what Julius Caesar, the Roman emperor, did was he said to his soldiers, he said, you know what? These humans are going to be really angry that we hung this man, Jesus Christ, on the cross. So for 40 days, you're going to turn up the entertainment. You're going to give everybody free food. You're going to create such a feast because these humans, their weakness, their Achilles heel is food.
Food and entertainment.
It's comfort.
If you give the
It's
mob,
entertainment.
if you give the mob food and entertainment, basically you have them in your hands. That's how this matrix works.
And now he's saying, what is your Achilles heel? Why aren't you focused on your ascension back to God? So now we know we have to get back to God. We have to, so the way it was explained to us is that we're all literally waiting just above the curtain. Like literally, let's say you're here, you're in this dimension, EldoRa and Siman. Let's say all of humanity is here. Let's say Lightworkers are here. And let's say God is here. He says, all you have to do is get past this ring past knot. The ring past knot, the final jump. But he says, what you guys don't know is that we on the other side of the fence, of the dimensional veil, we're all waiting there and we're leading, we're constantly helping wayshowers like you guys, because we already know that some of you, Siman and I have been told that we have a soul contract and we're like, we hate this responsibility, but it's our soul contract that we are going to be amongst the first to ascend into this new dimension. So God said, we're all waiting there. It's like the amazing race. Everybody's waiting. Who's going to be the first 2 people to come? It's not a race, but the first 2 people to come, it's like, holy shit, they've made it for humanity. They're saying that's what we're waiting. And we've been preparing you and Siman for the last 10 years, 11 years. Do you not know that this is not your life? We've prepared you. We made you these House of Ra people. We made you these Metatronic quantum healers. Why? Because the whole thing is being scripted by the higher realms because this is too fucking important.
This is real.
It's being scripted. We're not so genius that we can do all of this. Somebody is helping us. God is helping us. So he's saying, would you all Lightworkers not know that we're also helping you all? Anything that is in the positive direction of you going back to God, in the direction of, I need to get the fuck out of this prison. Not make it my home. Not spread my, things deep and get my couches and have my crystals and my bookshelves. He's like, you guys are like accumulating and accumulating on earth. Almost like you're happy spending time in this prison. You're happy in this prison. He's saying the first step before you can do anything is you need to know you have to get out of the prison. No more waiting for the solar flash. That was a breakthrough for us.
God said, if you were stuck in a prison and you knew that if you stopped eating the prison food, you would get out of the prison, would you eat? And we said no. And he said, well, that's what you're doing. You're constantly eating the prison food. That's what the prison wants.
Give me that juice. I have to show them something. And God literally said, look at the frequency of this thing. Look at the frequency of this cold-pressed carrot juice. Do you see its frequency? God is literally giving us the cheat sheet. We're not breatharians. We're not vegetarians. We're not vegans. We just lead a very balanced life. We're 95% vegan. But God is saying, imagine you drink like this, you eat like this, you cut out meat as much as you can. Like we allow only 5% of meat in our diet. But so basically you have to keep going up. There's no hard and fast rules. But he's literally saying that when you change your attachment to food and chips and chocolates and cookies and everything, because deep down you hate being here. You feel like a failure. You don't know why you're on this planet. You don't know how to get off. You're almost happy saying, I might as well just get comfortable with these humans. But then what happens when you die? You come back to this planet, or you go back to another third dimensional prison planet. Because remember, when you went to God and said, I want to go save humanity, God reminded you that there are no shortcuts. You have to do the curriculum, guys.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no... And God said he cannot save us. God told us this.
Yeah.
God said, EldoRa and Siman,
you can actually get trapped in this prison forever.
He said to us, make no mistake. If you don't navigate this path properly, We are going to navigate it properly. It's in our DNA. We're here for this.
It's our only purpose.
We are here on earth for this right now.
It's the only purpose we were created as souls was to ascend. So, what was the last thing you said?
But how
how to navigate out of this prison. Now let's take it to the next step. How do we actually get out of this prison? So that's what was shown to us. So now we're not going into theory. Now we're actually getting into practical steps, because we also, as ascension teachers, were given the practical steps of how to get out. So when we look at the ascension mechanics, when we look at the final being we're transforming into from caterpillar to butterfly, the butterfly version of us is just surviving of light. It's not surviving of food. The final transformation, Adam Kadmon, the being that we are all striving to become, or hopefully some of us are striving to become, others are unaware of this. But what we're all striving towards is a being that is completely non-dependent on this matrix. That being does not need food. It can live off light. It can live off sunlight and air. And this is not a fantasy. For those who are skeptical-minded, do your research. There's been documented scientific studies where very ascended beings or just people on their spiritual path have achieved not eating food for more than a year in a controlled environment. For more than a year, it's documented, but suppressed. You don't know it. And we mentioned this before. So the last jump that we have to make out of this matrix, the last jump that me and EldoRa, we're literally like, we're feeling like our souls are at the eye of the needle, and we're smelling the air of freedom, and there's light from above the tunnel cheering us on. The angelic realm is all waiting for someone to ascend. They're not going to send anyone new. They've already sent everyone they had to.
They're waiting for
one
the
of
first
us has
Christ.
to now ascend.
They're
One of
literally
us has
saying,
to become a Christ, and then many will become a Christ, because one of us jumps and then the collective jumps once we have the whole plan. So part of the plan is not eating, to be very clear. So I'm not saying we have to become a disciplinarian, like we just start killing ourselves with fasting and
Not at all.
one purpose. Basically, we have to ascend in a way that we are slowly and incrementally getting to the point of losing our dependency and our addiction to food. The addiction is what has to be removed. But it cannot be done in a cold turkey way.
in fact, if you do it in a cold turkey way, what's going to happen is your ego is going to rebel. So this ego thing is a whole science. We cannot possibly teach it in this video. It's a whole science. So why is the ego going to rebel? Your ego, if you just say, I'm going to become a breatharian today, that's it. Your ego is going to kick and scream and torture you to the point where most of you, unless you can do it, do it. But the ego is designed to keep you away from God.
The ego always snaps back into its comfort zone if you force it too much.
So you have to treat it like we teach all this in our ego masterclass. Literally, this is what you guys need to know. You need to know how to work with your ego. The ego, you need to train it with treats, but you're the master. So you're saying, hey, you've been good for 3 days, like you've done a juice fast, you're doing really good. You know what? Today, if you want to go have a light meal, but it can be before 5 o'clock, ideally, and it's vegetarian or it's healthy, sure, let's go have a nice Ethiopian meal. No problem. Let's go have a nice vegetarian meal. But if you don't give the ego anything and you starve it and you starve it and you starve it and you punish it and you discipline it, it is going to completely, basically backlash at you. In fact, what we're noticing is, you know how Siman and I said we're kind of like right under the ascension? That's the funny part. Siman said, we're starting to smell the freedom. We're starting to smell the air. Guys, what was shown to us is so ridiculous. What they're telling us is that everything in the matrix, from your Netflix shows, which we'll talk about in a second, everything in your matrix, from the food that they literally take dead animals, pretty it up with some tandoori chicken masala or whatever, put it on a beautiful plate with naan bread, and serve it to people wearing a cross of Jesus on their neck. He's like, if this is not all the devil's playground, what it is? You guys are in a devil's playground. These pretty birds and animals that are on the plate, you're eating it, you think, oh, it's so fine dining, you're having wine. You guys look like ridiculous. You've all forgotten. God is not speaking to you right now. I'm speaking to you. God would not shout and scream. He gets through. But I'm telling you, this is how I got it. Like, we're all just kidding ourselves. So God, what we were shown yesterday was something that now Siman and I have to figure out, is that just before we make the jump, like we are right now, we go into timelessness. We've gone through all of this. We've been making videos about it. We've gone into this 5D timelessness. So we thought, we've made it amazing. We're so happy. We've got financial freedom. We have no dependency on, like, we have financial freedom. We have all the money to do whatever we want. We can stop our business tomorrow if we want. We can stop YouTube videos if we want. So we have money. Fine, we've got all this. We've got, like, we love Houston. We have a house. We're settling here. We've got all that. So God is saying, you think you're smelling the air and that you're ahead of the crowd and you've already made it. But that's the dangerous part is, he said, and Siman and I have to figure this out now. He said there's a fail-safe unfucking possible. He's literally saying there's a fail-safe implant on the planet. It's a reversal technique that fallen angelics have used, that the fallen dark lords have used to reverse it to the point where somebody ascends, they're making a fool even of the Christ. They're like, you guys think you're Christ? You guys think you're ascending?
You're going to be hung.
You're going to be hung, and all this energy is inside of us. And you want to tell them about Netflix?
Yeah. So when we went into timelessness since January 1st, we started watching a show called Homeland on Netflix.
We were guided to.
Homeland. And we are doing it consciously. We're watching the show. We know there's negative programming in it. But part of our job is to insert ourselves into the matrix, study the matrix, immerse ourselves, not just study from outside, like immerse ourselves in the lifestyle of the matrix, study it, then see what traps are coming up, and then get past the traps and apply that lesson into our life and make changes and then submit that knowledge to humanity. That's the process of ascension we're being shown. So we were watching this show called Homeland.
And innocent.
And it's about the CIA and terrorists and whatnot. And it's a dark series. Like,
it's about terrorism.
It feels very harmless, but it's a very dark series.
It seems harmless and it's very addictive.
Bad news. There's always bad news. And that's the common theme of all shows.
But it's adrenaline. It's thrilling.
So there's like funerals, there's like people dying, there's like, I'm naming basically most Netflix shows, you choose your pick. But
or even
everything is making you feel hopeless. Everything is making you feel like one day something happens and you lose your loved ones.
Exactly.
Or one day you're
someone will cheat on you, your husband will cheat on you.
Or someone will snatch away your family. Or it's always some drama of the matrix that we find entertaining. But when we went into our ceremony last night with God, it was a completely different picture, because God showed us the holographic imprint of all of the Netflix that we're consuming, and he showed us a dark cloud above our head, and we were like, what the hell is this dark cloud? And he said, you guys are in a funeral right now. Your souls are grieving.
Whew.
Your souls are in a funeral grieving because last night's show that you watched had a funeral, and you're so emotionally attached to those characters. You even root for those characters. They're your heroes. And you're so emotionally invested in this show that your soul actually believes that there's a funeral and something bad has happened. So we're constantly being imprinted by television, by social media, by everything in this matrix, in this frequency controlled prison. Everything that is being fed to your mind, body, soul, emotions, everything is being fed to us. And the message is, there is no hope. That even if you're a Christed being, you end up on a cross. God sent you here to be slaughtered. these are the subliminal messages. We even watched Jesus Christ series. It's called, what was that? There
I
was a really
forget.
nice show
Messiah.
about, no, not Messiah. There was another show about the actual life of Yeshua in Netflix. But everything was narrated very beautifully, but the ending was, of course, the cross, right?
No,
So,
not everything. In that Yeshua thing, they made Mary Magdalene look like a
oh,
complete
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mute.
They made Mary Magdalene look like she was
She had
non-existent.
nothing to say.
The
Christ was the
feminine was
master.
like,
The feminine was just a
she was like
weak
a servant.
follower. No, that's what they want you guys
So,
to believe.
exactly,
The
they're,
woman is an equal. The woman is an equal in Christ. That's what we women are having to really recognize. We are equal to men. We have, and all of this brainwashing has been done that Christ is always male. That whole freaking show, Netflix show, just showed Jesus. Mary
yeah.
Magdalene is just nobody. She's just somebody who cooks.
And what was the
Bullshit.
message that's imprinted at the end of the series is that anyone going on their Christed path will end up like this because you're already in the prison. You dare not retaliate against us. You dare not bring the word of God here. Because if you do, we know who you are. We're watching you. And all of us subconsciously, part of us does not want to ascend because of that. Part of us is shit scared, you guys. Subconsciously, I'm being very honest with you guys. Both of us have realized that part of us was believing that we're going to be abandoned here by God forever because we've been always abandoned. We felt, and then God said, how dare you tell me? God never speaks to us like that, right?
God,
God
yeah.
doesn't say, like, how dare you? But he was more like, do you remember that when you came to me as Akhenaten and Nefertiti, both of you, you and EldoRa, you came with the plan to go to Egypt. You showed me the whole path. You showed me what you were going to do, and you showed me how important it was. And you knew that you're going in such a dark time in Egypt where everything is dark. The whole world was controlled by dark rulers at that time. And we went, a few of us Lightworkers went in Egypt to prepare the ground for Yeshua's arrival 3,000 years ago. And we went there. In our plan, we told God that, yeah, in the end, we were slaughtered. So God said that your plan included you knowing what you're getting into. But how can I say no to you if 144 million of my children were all asking at the same time? The only thing I can say is, I'll go first. And God went first. That's what happened.
So our plan now is to ascend. So I asked God, I said, listen, I have things like God's telling us to do this Egypt trip. So that's a thing. I have to do that in the 3D matrix. Like I have to prepare for that. So I said, I have things to do in the 3D matrix. Like we have Egypt, we have certain things like a car light circuitry activation. We have what else? Like we're going to Sedona in a few months. Like we have all our stuff. I said, should I just forget about all of that and fully focus on just ascending? He said they both, and many of you may wonder, like, how do we navigate Earth now, knowing that we have to get out of this prison? God is saying, focus more than your business. Like I asked him point blank. I said, is my ascension more important than Egypt? He said, absolutely yes. Meaning, what's the point of planning an Egypt trip if you're not in that frequency of ascension that is needed for the Egypt trip? So he's aligning all of you to say that, yes, you have a lot of plans. You're setting up shop. You're learning to be healers. You guys are setting up your online business. God said, all these skills are absolutely critical for your evolution as a soul. Meaning, all of this is needed because when you set up your own business, you're taking sovereignty back. Sovereignty is a real thing. It's a very fancy word. Sovereign, I'm sovereign. But it's a real thing. And I've experienced it recently when I took my control back and I got crypto. I thought, oh, what's the big deal with crypto? I've always had money. I've always had crypto. It's not that. I took control back. My finances are now in my hands. That's why I have this power that's coming out of me. I have my fucking finances in my hands. And that's sovereignty. I have power in my hands. I'm not depending on the matrix. So God's saying you need to take back your power from all the institutions, from food, from religion. If religion is fucking you up, it's time you let it go without any guilt. You're going into guilt because you're letting your mother and your grandmother and your auntie, who are all in like 3D consciousness, dictate your path. They're making you feel like sinners. But God's on the other side saying, my children, you are the 144 million who have gone to lead the way. And yes, the ones who have to lead the way have to do the hardest work. You have to piss off your family. You have to, like say, get out, like I did with my son. I asked my son to get out because he was so disrespectful to me, and he was lying and stealing and cheating and manipulating. And if I had not done that, I couldn't have started my soul mission. If I couldn't have started my soul mission with that disruptive energy in my house. So we Lightworkers have to make, that's why we're all called wayshowers. It's not a term, we are actually wayshowers. We have to do the uncomfortable stuff.
So we are very practical ascension teachers, and we like to give you the theory, but we also like to give you the steps in the end. So here's what we figured out is our charter to get out of the matrix. To actually get out of this matrix, we are no longer watching shitty Netflix show. We're going to watch comedy shows for entertainment. You're still allowed to entertain yourself. Just watch better programming. Fine, we can do that. Next, meat has to go. Meat is not part of the ascension. Because it's the vibration of the animal that's killed is fear. The matrix kills animals in a very fearful way, in a very shocking way. And that fear frequency gets embedded in the meat. Not only that, then they put all kinds of junk, COVID vaccines and toxins and heavy metals and God knows what. These farm animals are basically bloated with shit, and we're eating that shit. So even if you didn't get the COVID jab, if you eat meat, you have the COVID jab in you because the cow is full of COVID vaccines. So meat has to go.
Fish has to go.
All meat, like meat, fish, poultry. We're still going to eat eggs. We're going to be on a vegetarian diet. We're going to appease our ego with a cheat day every 10 days because we understand the science of nervous system snapback, and your nervous system retaliates after a certain level of resistance. So when we reach that level of resistance, we're going to give our ego a cheat day. But that cheat day does not mean a descension. It means getting back on track the next day. It's a plan. The cheat day is part of the plan. It's not a lifestyle. Some people say cheat day, and that cheat day becomes their plan. So as long as you have a very clear picture. Secondly, we're going, so shows, food, we're going to be doing at least a 2-day fast every 10 days.
We do it every.
We're on a third day of
Guys,
fasting
this
today.
has been the biggest jump for us. It's so easy when we just say every 10 days or every week, like every 8-9 days, let's say, we're just going to do a 2-day juice fast. It's so easy. Initially, it's hard, but once you get used to it, it just feels so pleasurable because every 2 weeks or every 10 days, you know that, oh, your vibration is going to go up. Because when you go juice, your body is a big thing. So what I'm trying to also tell you is that, or share with you, is that when your mindset is realigned like it is right now, your decisions will start to change. So for example, we're in the US right now, and we can only stay here 6 months at a time, right? What is that?
Continue without.
You guys can still hear us? I don't know where the chat is.
Second.
What was I saying?
Yeah.
What was I saying?
So we're in Houston. We can only stay here for 6 months.
So we can stay here for 6 months. And so we were thinking next week, where else we'll go? We're Canadians. So we were thinking, let's go back to Toronto because we have a lot of stuff there. We've lived there. But every time we would think of Toronto, going back to Toronto, something in me would be like, no, I'm not going to look for the Airbnb. Now that we're got this realignment, we're realizing that we're going to Toronto for the wrong reasons because it's got all the, it's got more attractions, it's got more vibe, it's got more patios. We're going to go most likely to Montreal unless God gives us a different plan, because somehow I'm feeling just intuitively, I'm not saying Montreal is better than Toronto. I'm saying for the phase that we are going through right now, for Siman and me as unique individuals, Toronto has a different frequency than Montreal does. And right now we have limited options because we don't feel like going to Europe or Australia or anywhere. We want to stay near North America. That's where our mission is right now. So my point is that once you let go of these addictions, you guys will start to realize in your life, in your day-to-day life, that a lot of your decisions in life are made around your addictions to the matrix. So you'll go to a certain place because it'll have your certain favorite restaurant, or you'll go to Italy, Paris to eat a baguette and a Nutella.
People are saying there's no sound now.
Oh, fuck.
Sound's gone.
Fine. All right, we're done for this one. Bye, guys.
Sound's gone.
See you next time. Love you. Love you.